From Mordor to Hogwarts to Gotham, the nerds have come together to create a show for nerds by nerds. Join nerds doing nerd things as they talk about all things nerdy. Stay up to date on the show by liking the Nerds Doing Nerd Things Facebook page.
Hello everybody and welcome to All-Star 15 TV. On the broadcast tonight, we are bringing you Season 4's opening race here at Daytona International Speedway, the Thunderstorm League of Racing, the Daytona Thunder 200. In the broadcast booth with me, it is my very good friend and co-team owner of Riot Motorsports. It is Mr. Gary Wells. Gary, how are you, pal?
Doing pretty good, man. Ready to call another exciting race for you here at Daytona, and ready to see what this league brings on as far as the product on the racetrack. Should be a fun time.
It should be a lot of fun. You and I have been around Daytona quite a bit these last couple days. It's kind of a little different. Yesterday we were in the next gens. Tonight we're in the Xfinity cars. Tell everybody who isn't maybe up to NASCAR and in the know, how different are those two vehicles from Sunday to Saturday?
Well, I mean, they're completely different now. I mean, the Cup car is its own animal. It's got a diffuser. It's got the underground effects underneath the race car, independent rear suspension. I mean, the cars are completely different. What you're going to see here with these Xfinity cars tonight, very similar to what we've seen in NASCAR over the last 50 years of solid axles for both front and rear, and just an old school race car. So we're going to see the draft act completely different from the Cup car that you see today versus the Xfinity car.
Yeah, and on your screen right there, it's the layout of Daytona International Speedway. The track length of 2.48 miles. The track temperature is sitting right at 94 degrees Fahrenheit. So it's not overly hot, but you know, we are baking in that beautiful Florida sunlight here, but you know, 65 outside, broadcasters AJ Capola and Gary Wells. But man, I'm looking forward to tonight. Tonight's going to be a lot of fun. I'm very happy to have the Thunderstorm League of Racing back on All-Star 15 TV. And Gary, I'm very happy and glad you can make it and be my co-host for these Wednesday night races.
Yeah, absolutely. It's always a pleasure being up here with you in the booth and calling these races as we see them. And it's always exciting what these guys usually bring out onto the racetrack.
So you kind of went all on your own with what we were doing tonight, and you asked some of the drivers. You actually ran some laps. Why don't you tell our listeners and viewers kind of the insight that you gathered from all that?
Yeah, so I was able to go out in the Ghost test car here tonight and turn a few laps with these guys. What you should be able to expect is honestly a lot of side drafting, a lot of close side-by-side action. These guys really weren't pushing that hard because it's practice, but I did see a little bit just from watching, you know, as you were before we went live, of the of kind of some tandem drafting. You'll see that a little bit toward the front of the pack. Definitely the first two cars will be pushing, but tonight the draft is very, very real. Once you leave the draft, you're completely out of it and your car drops and it feels like it's bogged down. But once you're in the draft, the car's running good, it's running smooth, and there's a big speed difference here between in the draft and not in the draft.
Yeah, and I like how you kind of phrase all that, because for me, I know nothing about cars. I know a little bit about NASCAR and how everything works, but I'm glad to have you up here because you can really make everything seem so easy to understand. But, you know, for everybody, for the first time on All-Star 15 TV, how are you? How you doing? This is going to be a weekly Wednesday night event for us. Next week we go to Las Vegas. But if it's your first time, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel. I really appreciate all the support everybody gives me, especially with Noah, Chase, and Devin, the admins of the Thunderstorm League of Racing. I appreciate them wanting us to come back. But I am so looking forward to this. These guys were one of the best leagues I have had on this channel, and I'm happy that we can grow into another season 4 now. So right now, Philip Bridgman with a 46.45. I think that's actually running faster than the Cup vehicles.
Just about. I mean, it's right there. I mean, we saw the Cup cars last night in our league, AJ. They were going about 45.9, 45.8 in the draft. So it's right around there, maybe a little bit faster, about a half second faster or so, but it's right there on time.
Yeah, we're kind of looking at everybody check out pit stops with the draft, but qualifying is a big thing here. Just to start up front kind of helps you maneuver the race in a different way, but we've seen it many times where drivers come from the front to the back and vice versa multiple times. How difficult is it to run through that world's fastest traffic jam?
I mean, it could be very difficult. I mean, this place, it tests everything as far as your psyche goes. It tests your physical ability, it tests your mental ability, and it can test you emotionally too, because tempers do flare here at this racetrack. But it tests your ability to how well you can draft, bump draft. It tests your mind as far as, which lane should you get in at what time, which lane is more organized, which lane's going to have a good push versus not. So as a driver, here at Daytona, there's a lot going on in the car at speed, more so than any other racetrack we go to. Yeah, when you get to a road course, when you get to a short track, there's at a road course, there's shifting and braking points and those kind of things. Same with the short track with the braking points and whatnot. But here at Daytona, there's a lot going on in the car. At times, you're looking more so in your rearview mirror than you are out the windshield.
It's a very good point, and let's start talking about past Daytona races here for the Thunderstorm League of Racing. Gary, take it away, my friend.
Yeah, so I gathered some data from the last couple of races here that they've done in the Xfinity car. So they've done two seasons worth of races here in the Xfinity car at Daytona. Anywhere from about 20 lead changes is what we'll see here tonight. The most was last year. They had 24 lead changes over the course of 80 laps. And it seems like the race was more competitive this past season. The winner of the race, Chase Schaefer, he led the most laps at 30 laps, where the season prior, the guy that led the most laps, he led 52 out of the 80 laps. So it's going to be a pretty interesting race. I think it's going to be very competitive. Cautions usually fall about the same, anywhere from 6 to 8 cautions, somewhere around in there for about 20 laps or so. In that fuel window, I'm sure we'll talk about that in more detail, but anywhere from about 30 to 33 to 33 to 40 laps, somewhere in that ballpark. But usually if you are up front here, usually bodes well for you. At the end of the day, track position is key, especially if there's a late race caution. If you qualified well, you get a premier pit stall selection, and that really does help you under yellow with the race off pit road.
Yeah, it 100% will. But back to what we were saying earlier, you can go from the back to front and front to back in just a split second. It just determines on who you're running with. And right now on your screen, as we're sitting in the center field cam, high above the Daytona International Speedway, you see this nice grouping of drivers trying to, side by side, along with try to catch the 13 and I think that's the 33 as well. But, I'm really curious to see what drivers are going to, work with other drivers. But you asked the question before we went live tonight, and why don't we get into that right now? Gary, who is your pick to win? We've been watching qualifying. We've been watching the race ever since it went live, this practice session, and, after watching drivers, I'm taking Zeke Willis, who last year alone, I think he was our pole sitter, if I'm correct. Yes, he was. He did lead 12 laps and finish second, so a very strong race for him last year. But I think I know who you're going to pick. but I want to hear you say it.
Well, it's a sentimental pick for me, and honestly, at Daytona, it is one of the biggest wild card races we'll have early on in this season because it's a plate track and anybody can win here. It really evens the playing field out. I did pick Mike Robinson in the 60 car tonight, so I'm hoping he can have a good run. He usually runs pretty good here at Daytona. Usually can get up there in the top 5, top 10, and I've seen him sneak out wins here before. So he's going to be one to watch, and really, it's going to be interesting how the strategy unfolds for a lot of these guys because there are some people, they want to be up front the whole race and control the race. And then there are some guys that would rather just lay it back and watch the wrecks unfold and then toward the end of the race make their moves. So it's going to be interesting to see how these drivers here tonight decide to go about the race tonight.
Well, you bring that up. Why don't you jump in further with what you were going with that of, you taking Mike Robinson and knowing his plate ability?
Yeah, so, I mean, really at Daytona, it just requires a lot of things. One, you got to have a fast car. And with these fixed setups, everybody's on the same playing field. Everybody has the exact same setup. They know what they're going to do. So really, it just comes down to driver ability, how they get a feel for the draft, almost kind of like how Dale Earnhardt back in the day would say he could see the air. Just knowing how the car is going to react to certain situations as far as like those quick moves, getting in the draft, knowing when to push, why to push, how to push, those kind of things. Mike is pretty good at doing that when he has his head on straight, just like every other driver in the field. But it's going to be interesting how these guys decide to go about with whether they decide to lay back early or if they decide, let's get to the front and let's stay there all night.
And as you guys have seen on your screen, bottom right-hand corner are all the channel partners, starting with the Nerds Doing Nerd Things podcast. New live streams every Tuesday with audio episodes releasing that Wednesday, and wrestling over everything. If you like wrestling, AEW, WWE, TNA, New Japan, it's a Facebook page full of wrestling fans. Go check it out. Everything is down in the description below. But we're almost time to start qualifying, and when they go to qualifying, we're going to take you trackside for the national anthem. So 25 seconds left before we go. Gary, if you had to choose, do you run full throttle all race, or do you go to the back and try to save your car?
Well, they do have one faster pair here, so I would definitely see what these guys are going to do within the first 10 laps. If I think it's going to be too crazy, I'll drop back to save that faster pair toward the end of the race. Otherwise, I'm probably gonna ride around probably at the end of the lead draft just to give myself a chance to get to the wrecks early.
All right, everybody. Well, that is the practice for the Daytona Thunder 200. We're gonna go trackside for the singing of our national anthem.
Here to perform our national anthem, please welcome award-winning, multi-platinum country music icon and star of the upcoming Fox series Monarch, Trace Adkins.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of of the brave.
We are back here at the Daytona International Speedway. Gary Wells, AJ Capola. All right, qualifying is now underway. Everybody gets 2 laps, normal qualifying. But right now, Philip Bridgman in that 48 Cobalt, beautiful Jimmy Johnson throwback scheme with a 50.37. So we're looking at solo, you're about 4 seconds slower. That sound about right to you, Gary?
Yeah, anywhere from 3 to about 4 seconds slower by yourself. And if that happens to you in a race, you better be on guard, because that's going to be pretty doggone critical as we get towards the end of this thing. You definitely want to make sure you stay in the draft. I think that's going to be a big key here tonight. And it looks like they picked up a little bit of time on their second lap here, about a couple hundredths worth there for
Dylan
Phillip
Basin there. In the 08 goes P1, and with the same exact time, David Cabrera goes P2.
Yeah, they both. Dylan ran a 50.27.0, and David ran a 50.27.1. So, according to the timing and scoring on iRacing here, so it's close here at Daytona. That's for sure. As we see Will Cloud, he lays a 50.26.
Will Cloud, you've seen him on this channel before, Monday nights. But qualifying is the easy part here at Daytona. Once you get to the world's fastest traffic jam, that's where it becomes difficult and becomes a chess match.
Yeah, it does. It becomes very, very critical here. Every move you make, you just got to be super careful with it. Looks like your pick here took a different approach this season. Decided not to possibly lay down his best lap for qualifying. Let's see what he does here coming to the line. He's going to lay down at 24. Okay, all right. Well, he's going to go straight to the pole here, picking up where he left off last season here at Daytona.
A P1.
Yeah, P1 there, and he picked up to a 50.242.
Yeah, and there's the 60 of your pick, Mike Robinson, coming to put his first lap on the board. That will put him with must have scrubbed the wall a little bit. There's a no time on that.
Yeah, there's a no time on that one, so probably scrub the wall. And really, when you're here, lap 1 at Daytona, and even your warm-up lap, coming to take the fly green lap here, you really want to stay up to the outside wall, build up all the momentum you can. And it was probably one of those things for Robinson here where, it's a possibility where maybe he nudged the wall at some point during his lap. But on the second lap here, going into turn 3, holding a nice steady line. Holding it pretty good right on the bottom of the racetrack. And here, what I would do as a driver, coming out of 4, I'm going right to the apron. That way you could cut off time and distance off the lap. We'll see if Mike does that here if he gets onto the apron as we get towards the start-finish line. He won't, but
he does not.
He is going to lay down a 50.41. So right there about mid-pack, about the 19th position. Not the greatest qualifying effort, but honestly, AJ, we've seen it here before. Qualifying really doesn't matter all that much.
No, it doesn't. Jonathan Kuzmano just went P17 after his first lap, looking to move forward in that number 14. As he's flying down the backstretch, doing the exact same line you were mentioning with Mike Robinson, trying to make this the shortest version of the Daytona International Speedway oval course, but you see him bobble just a little bit. He's got about 5 or 6 feet off the bottom as he then retreats back to that double yellow line. I would not be
Andrew Mraz used to tell me all the time, AJ, it's really critical here, especially during qualifying. You don't waver your line all that much. You're not tugging on the wheel a whole lot because that could really scrub off your speed as he goes up to P10 on the board. Not a bad lap, but definitely if he would have done a better job picking and being more decisive where he was going to run, even on the straightaways a little bit here, any bit of wheel tug, no matter where you're at on this racetrack, it can cost you thousandths of a second.
All right, everybody, we will be right back. We're going to take a quick look at the Nerds Doing Nerd Things podcast, and when we return, we will give our final notes of qualifying and then bring you the Daytona Thunder 250.
From Mordor to Hogwarts to Gotham, the nerds have come together to create a show for nerds by nerds. Join Nerds Doing Nerd Things as they talk about all things nerdy. Stay up to date on the show by liking the Nerds Doing Nerd Things Facebook page.
All right, everybody, we are back here at the Daytona International Speedway. Very excited for this season opener event for the Daytona Thunder 200. Thought Gary was going to pop on that one. But it's AJ Capola, Gary Wells up in the broadcast booth. Right now, Zeke Willis is picking up right where he left off P1, and I think he might be the only shot at getting the pole because nobody else is on track or waiting to qualify. They did.
Yeah, no one else has laid down a lap. You're right, AJ. And honestly, at this point, with only 50 seconds left in the session, we probably aren't going to see that many more people. And it looks like everybody's getting ready to ready up. So that will therefore advance the session. And we are going to get right to the race here, AJ.
Nice. Can't wait. Very excited. I hold this league very close to my start in broadcasting and kind of everything from that because they've stuck with me for a long time, and a lot of the drivers are almost exactly the same as since season 2 when we started.
Yeah, it's always nice to be a part of a league that has a core group of drivers that just that stick around, and it's really easy, as a broadcaster, you get familiar with everybody. And even as a league administration, it's really easy to get to know people and you just kind of get a feel of how everybody drives and just stays consistent.
Yep. And right on your screen there, it is the starting lineup for the Daytona Thunder 200. On pole, it is the Toyota Camry of Zeke Willis. I think it's a Camry. No, Supra. Apologize.
It's a Supra.
Forgot we were doing Xfinity for a second, and I've done this league for 3 seasons now. Will Cloud is going to start outside pole in second. Dylan Basin and David Cabrera, row 2. Philip Bridgman and Zach Mertez in row 3. Row 4, Noah Wilson and Devin Mosley, both admins in the Thunderstorm League of Racing. Oscar Henson and Jonathan Kuzmano, row number 5. Row 6, Charles Ketton and Josh Kosek. Row 7, Ryan Billy and Tyrell Foster. Row number 8, it is Clay Nelson and Steve Accardi. Row 9, Matthew Enns and Zachary Thornton. Row 10, Ted Decker Jr. and Mike Robinson. Everybody else is going to cycle through across your screen as we're about to get the one to go and leaving pit road. Oh, man, am I excited.
Yeah, this race is going to be exciting here from the get go. Going to be interesting. A couple of things that you'll want to watch for, AJ, as we get this thing started. How many people are going to try to stay up front immediately? How many people are feeling racy? And as you saw last night in our Cup race, I hate to bring that as a point of reference, but it just is what it is. It's what we did last night. How many cars will drop back to the back? I mean, you saw it last night. As soon as we got off of turn number 2, it seemed like 7, 8, 9 cars. Everybody just dropped to the rear, and I'm kind of curious to see how many we're going to see do that here tonight, as we have 39 cars starting this race, AJ, so it's going to be very interesting.
It's a huge, huge race tonight, and it's going to be pure chaos with this many cars on track. Right now, it is all Willis and Cloud on your front row. They're going to lead everybody to the green, as it looks like they're starting to file into their positions on this backstretch. And you made a heck of a point that we, coming out of 2, we might see 5, 6, up to 10 drivers just say, hey, I'm going to go to the inside. I want none of this business.
Yeah, and you're going to see these guys 3 wide, and you know, when they come off of 2, they might even be 4 wide because you got guys on the apron trying to drop to the back. So this start, and usually the starts and restarts here at Daytona are pretty crazy. Until they file out, we'll probably see some single file racing at some point here a little bit, just so drivers, they want to get their laps in and that kind of thing, and then it'll get exciting toward the end. So gonna be interesting how the start goes here, as we're seeing the pace car get ready to make that turn off pit road.
There it goes, off of the racetrack down to pit road.
Green flag, green flag.
And we are green here for Season 4 of the Thunderstorm League of Racing, as they fly down the short chute towards turn 1, that inside lane with an amazing start there.
Yeah, that inside line is definitely more organized right now, AJ. As we see the outside line, they're kind of sporadic, but the first about 5 to 6 cars on the inside lane, they're all right there together.
Yeah, they're bunched up like you would expect them to be. Oh, they're 3 wide already. That 48 of Philip Bridgman 100% wants to lead right there.
And that 08, he just went to the middle of the racetrack there. I don't know if it was by design to fall back a little bit, but being stuck here in the middle of Daytona, not ideal.
No, it is not. It's a little bit... Oh! There's
the 48 down there, getting a little bit loose.
2 48s. Okay, got it. Will Cloud is listed on Sim as the 57. He's the Pepsi 48.
Come on, guys. We got to get our numbers right here. The first race of the season.
Well, I'll give him that. It is the first race of the season, as they're flying out of turn 2.
And if you have the right amount of pushing here, AJ, you could really get that outside lane to work here, as they're already thinking about doing 3 wide again. But really, what you want to do here, if you're on the outside lane, you want to be pushing all the time, because at the exit of the corners and down these straightaways here at Daytona, you can get a massive run.
Yes, you can, but look at this. This inside lane looks to be a little more put together, but here comes the 02 of Mertez, trying to give the 16 of Kosek a little push to help Cloud get to the front there. As you can see, the 17 here, or I'm sorry, the 08 of Dylan Basin, he is all over the back bumper of that 57 of Will Cloud. So these guys are pushing and pushing hard here at the beginning of this race. And like I was stating a little bit in pre-race, and I'll talk about it here now a little bit, you'll see this very common here at Daytona and Talladega, where the top 2 cars in line, whether it's the inside lane or the outside lane, you're going to see them right on the bumper, if not pushing these cars all the way around the racetrack, whether it be on the straightaways, the corner. Oh, trouble on the back there, number 1 car.
Caution,
looks like the one was able to save it, but that's going to bring out our first yellow here, AJ.
Matthew Enns takes pit road.
And it looks like the 15 came back up the race course and involved a bunch of other guys here too.
Gonna see it right here on your screen. Here it is. Oh yeah, and just clips the 1. The 15's gonna go hard into the wall. Good thing they got fast repairs.
Yeah, everybody's going to be using them now.
Oh, and they ended up wrecking at the front of the field as well.
Yeah, and that's one of those things, AJ. When you wreck at the front of the field here, it could just be one of those things of miscommunication where you're just checking up for the wreck and just making sure that you're staying out of the way, pretty much. Looks like the could be the O2. He looked kind of sideways here. Indeed, he was in the trial there, AJ. You'll have to get on board of that or something. But
Ryan.
he spun as well. He got sideways, dead sideways. Oh, looks like a lot of net code there between him and another vehicle. Maybe is that the 8 car?
Well, the 8 car would
Noah Wilson.
Noah Wilson.
Yeah, he blinked out for half a second there, and the O2 didn't realize that he was still there, and they come back together, and it kind of takes out the whole front of the field there.
Gotta check something in my settings because it looks like half the field isn't showing up, which is no good.
Yeah, we just had that update today, AJ. You know, for iRacing, sometimes your graphics just aren't where they need to be after an update. They always change them.
Yeah, they do. Don't appreciate it, iRacing.
It happens. These quarterly updates, they get you every time.
Okay, so let's try this beautiful thing again as we have pit stops.
Pit stops already, and of course these guys have unlimited tires, so I think a lot of people just coming into pit road, settle their nerves a little bit, top off on that fuel tank to extend their fuel run to maybe one green flag stop to the end. Yes, lap 6, and we're already talking fuel strategy. Gonna be interesting here as these guys are getting their tires, getting their fuel, and making their way back out on the racetrack here. And some of these guys not even taking tires. Some of them are taking fuel only.
Well, it's Daytona, and I've always thought, you know, track position, but Daytona, you really, I don't think, need tires every single pit stop. Maybe
you really
halfway.
don't. Yeah, you really don't need tires on every pit stop. You will see guys under green. They will take 2 because of how long it takes to fuel the car, where you can at least get 2 tires in where that's rights or lefts. But yeah, typically you won't see guys take all 4 tires unless it's under caution, because sometimes it does give you a little bit extra grip. It may not be may not mean a whole lot, but it does mean a little bit to give you a little bit easier maneuverability through these corners, especially today. I know it's not the hottest temperature on track at around 86 degrees right now, but it's been baking in that Florida sun, and this track is pretty slick.
Yeah, and looking at who is P1 right now, it is the 60 of Mike Robinson playing a little strategy right here to try to stay up front. But for everybody watching, hit that like button. If you haven't yet, subscribe to All-Star 15 TV. Thank you to our channel partners in the bottom right-hand corner, the Nerds Doing Nerd Things podcast and WOE Wrestling over everything. But so far, lap 6, we are under our first caution, and before that happened, we saw some amazing side-by-side racing.
Yeah, we certainly did. It looks like the lights are going to be off on that Ford Mustang pace car, and these guys are going green next time by.
Interesting. Very interesting. Can't wait. Right now, I'm going to run down your top 10. As if I can click up scoring and timing and scoring. It is going to be Mike Robinson, Samuel Harrell, Ted Decker Jr. in third. Fourth goes to Andy Ennis. Fifth to Garrett Britton. Sixth to Dylan Basin. Josh Kosek in seventh. Noah Wilson in eighth. Ryan Billy ninth. And Philip Bridgman in 10th. So a lot of new drivers within that top 10, and that goes straight to our front row, Samuel Harrell and Mike Robinson.
Well, and I think with Mike and Sammy's case, you know, they kind of want to get ahead of the chaos, get up here up towards the front, see what your car will do up front a couple laps. And also, I mean, you could pretty much have the same equivalence of pitting here under caution to gain a few laps of fuel, or just stay out and get into fuel savings mode here at Daytona as well. So going to be interesting. I think these guys up front, especially in our front row, they're banking maybe a couple more cautions here to close the fuel window a little bit, but going to be interesting here as these guys get going here in the middle of turns 3 and 4 now.
Yeah. And here we go as they're letting the pace car get a little further ahead, which I'm not used to seeing, but here we go. Pace
You
cars.
don't normally see it at shorter tracks, your intermediates, but yeah, not here at Daytona.
Well, here we go.
Green flag, green flag.
And Robinson already on the loud pedal there, and he's going to be sticking to that low side. Looks like Sammy got a good restart as well. He's going to be able to fall down to the inside lane. Looks like the outside was able to keep it together a little bit better here, at least with the front 2 cars on the outside, but a little more spread out on this restart, which I guess after having a big wreck like this, AJ, that we just had, probably not the worst thing in the world.
No, it's not. You kind of want to log laps, go maybe possibly single file, and just get to around lap 60, 70, and then really start the battle.
Yeah, really about 10, 20 to go. Sometimes even 5 to go. We've seen some guys, they just they decide to turn the switch on so late in the race. And as you see the 08 and the, I believe that is the 16, they decide to shoot down in front of that 60 car there, and they're going to be 1 and 2 now. Well, another lead change.
Maybe they heard you. Mike Robinson is a good pusher in these super speedway races, and right now he's the 3rd car on that inside lane, currently being led by Dylan Basin and Josh Kosek.
Yeah, Mike's really good at riding up front here at Daytona. When he holds a steady line, as he's kind of struggling a little bit there, but once he gets in line and he gets into a groove, he's usually pretty quick here at Daytona.
Well, looks like Devin Mosley.
Oh, he's going to pull. Oh, I thought the 60 there was going to the outside, possibly get a push.
There he goes.
Oh, there goes the 47. He's blinking in and out. And here comes the 60. He's going to get up to P3 here still, but first car on the outside lane. Maybe with a push here from this 43 car of Sammy Harrell, he'll be able to get to the front here.
They also have the 48 of Philip Bridgman as well on that outside.
And it looks like the 88 too in that Red Bull machine. He's going to be with these guys as well.
Yep, Patrick Anderson in the 33 City Chevrolet of Terry Kahn.
Terry Kahn, yep. I remember racing with Terry a few times. Good race car driver.
Now, what do you need on that top side to pass the bottom lane? Because it looks like the top, for the most part, was pretty good and jam-packed. But, they still weren't making great time on that bottom lane. Is it like a 1-to-3 or a 2-to-3 ratio kind of thing?
Well, it's a combination of things. I mean, you got to be able to hold your line really well on the outside lane, and then you also have to have a good pusher. If you have a good pusher on the outside lane, you could really make some hay here. But if you can't hold your line steady, like Mike and some of these guys here on the outside lane are struggling a little bit to do that, to hold that steady wheel. It's going to be hard to, you'll stay right about here all night long. You're not going to be able to gain a whole lot, but if these guys can hold their line here for a solid half lap to a full lap, they'll be able to definitely make some moves here. As we're seeing Mike, he's going to get up to about 2nd here, but definitely going to be an issue trying to take that lead.
Well, if he could side draft just a tad and Philip Bridgman in that 48 can get a nice run into Samuel Harrell, I wouldn't be surprised to see that 60 or even the 43.
Yeah, and you could do a lot of side drafting here. I mean, it's not as evident as you would.
There they go.
In the
17 and 16 to the back.
And the 60's just going to fall right into line here and take the lead away for the most part. For the moment. We'll see what happens here between the 43 and the 48, see if they can get the outside lane going.
Well, I want to have a quick look at that 78 of Ted Deckard. It looks like...
Whoa! Got a car loose here? Maybe that was by design. He saved it.
It looks like the 78 has some left side damage. What kind of body damage can you still run with at these super speedway races? Because we see, some cars missing a little bit of a fender and be slow, but once they get back in the pack, it kind of compensates for that. Because there goes the 51. He's going to take the eject button, Andy Ennis, and go straight to the back.
Yeah, here at Daytona, you want to make sure that you keep your nose and your rear end clean throughout the night, and also keeping your engine running at peak performance. And at peak performance here at Daytona, that's 2,000 RPMs. If you could keep it there, not have any engine damage, you can keep the front and the back end of the race car clean, you're going to be in pretty good shape. Even if you have a little bit of fender damage, you could still make some moves. The 78's bouncing all over the place here.
Yes,
nice save, 78 car. But you can get away with a little bit of side damage, a little bit of fender damage. As long as the engine is still at 2,000 RPMs, you'll be in good shape.
Look at this 79, CJ Allman. He's going wherever he wants with that car.
Yeah, pretty much. He's going wherever he needs to go, and admins are getting ready to tell these drivers, settle down a little bit. We still got 60 some laps to go here at Daytona, so just take your time and make your moves accordingly, and just get some laps in.
Absolutely, as we're seeing that outside lane, outside of a couple drivers, kind of deteriorate, but for the longevity of the race, I think that's a smart move in my opinion.
Yeah, because you definitely want to keep running at the end. That's the most important thing when the pay window is open, and you definitely want to get your laps in and keep your car in one piece. That's really the big key here at Daytona.
And right now, the only two cars on that outside are the 60 and the 79. You got Mike Robinson and CJ Almond. Just those two are doing it all by themselves.
Yeah, they're doing it all by themselves, and they're able to stay up there. A little bit of side draft is helping them at this point. But the outside line, really these two cars up here at the front, and there's a few cars scattered about midway through this line, but really it's just those two holding it strong up there in the top 5 there on the outside lane. And there is an advantage of running the top side. You can hold it wide open a little bit more than you can on the bottom. On the bottom, you do have to anticipate for checkups a little bit. Just naturally here, the air at Daytona, it kind of creates a little bit of an accordion effect. And as we're seeing the top lane all of a sudden come back to life here, AJ, but these guys are starting to figure it out a little bit.
Yeah, that's what it's looking like, as they are even. Robinson right now to the lead for just a moment.
Yeah, and they only count lead changes at the start-finish line, so it's going to be interesting to see if he can lead this lap. He's got a really good pusher there in the 79 right behind him.
Oh, we're going to see it right here.
Not quite. Didn't quite lead that. Oh, he did by 3/1000ths of a second. Look at that.
Look at that. Another lead change in the books. But look at the 21 right there. Chris Spencer, that front end along with Amund's back end messed up, bent a little bit, but you can deal with that here at Daytona as long as you're not leading the line. If you're not leading the line, you got a messed up front end, that's okay, as long as you're pushing. But you get out in the air and you're leading, it's gonna drop like a parachute. Same thing with that 79. It's important for him to stay tucked behind a car. Yeah, but the point I'm trying to make is it doesn't line up bumpers now.
Yeah, that too. I mean, that's going to be tricky when these guys are trying to push and bump draft on the straightaways for sure.
But we are side by side by side by side as the
2 by 2. We got Noah's Ark out here.
Tyrell Foster, as my brain just hits a flush button, jumps out before they head into turn 1.
Yeah, Mike Robinson there taking the lead, and the 43 says, no thanks, I'm not going to let you come down on me here. I'm going to go to this high side now, and I'm going to see if I can lead more laps.
I'm kind of surprised that Robinson left Amund. They both were working
a little bit.
Well.
They were working pretty good together there, and now Amund's going to come right down in front of the 60 there.
Watch out. Oh, wrong track. Uh-oh.
Oh, here comes the 60. He's going to take the momentum. And the thing is here at Daytona with this momentum, it could feel like at times, especially if you're the
Robinson's
first car.
Got Harrell squirrely there.
Yeah, just a little bit there. Once you swing out to that high side and try to take that momentum, if you're not careful as a first car, even with your car perfectly clean, it could feel like that you just hit a wall of air and it just bogs the car down. But it looks like for Mike there, he was able to keep his momentum up pretty good.
We're moving right along this race as we're coming to put lap 19 on the board. Everybody, chat room's open. Hit that like button. Subscribe to All Star 15 TV for all things Thunderstorm League of Racing. This is the season opening race here at Daytona International Speedway, the Daytona Thunder 200. As we have an amazing battle up front for this top spot. You got Samuel Harrell and Mike Robinson. Biggest mover of the race so far. It is plus 36. The driver of the number 21 Ford Mustang, Chris Spencer.
Yeah, started P40 here, and he's already up into the inside of the top 5. He's made some pretty good moves up here. The 79 here is backing out of this pack, wanting to fall back a little bit. And as long as you stay within a second, as long as you're in the lead draft, I think you're going to be okay. Starting to split off into 2 packs a little bit, or even 3 really, because after these front guys, the first guy in line here is Terry Kahn in the 33. I know he's not on the lead lap, at least to my knowledge, if I can find him. He is, I'm sorry. He is kind of leading the second charge a little bit here. A couple seconds back, but they're still right there. If these guys got together and pushed a little bit, they could be right up in the front of this pack. They got some really strong drivers back here. I mean, you got the 20 of Zeke Willis back here. You've got the 22 as well. Some of these guys are pretty strong in practice, so they know what to do at Daytona.
The 20 of Zeke Willis and the 22 of J.D. Laird, who are nose to tail right now, are 2 big champion contenders outside of Willis being the championship winner last year. Those 2 are battling all season long, and it looks like they are very much working together right now.
Yeah, they are working together right now, and you know, over the course of a season, it's going to be pretty important. These 12 weeks, every point counts, and you want to make sure that you finish all the races, because you never know. It might, DNF or 2 could really hurt your chances at a run for a championship.
And look at that. They have caught this front pack. And you mentioned just a couple laps ago, keep it within a second. From 1st to 15th within a second of each other.
Yeah, from 1st to 15th within a second of each other. And really, this entire lead lap pack of about 22-ish cars, 25-ish cars, everybody is still in this one big old pack together. There's about 28 or so cars all right there together.
So as we're just about a quarter into this race, is there a driver you want to quickly spotlight, Gary?
Let's talk about the 21 of Chris Spencer here. I mean, we already talked about him a little bit here, but he decided not to qualify, decided to start shotgun on this field pretty much in the 40th position, and worked his way up to the top 5 at one point, was about 3rd or 4th, and just maintaining his stuff right here in about 7th position. Hasn't used his fast repair yet, as you can clearly see on that 21 car with the bent front end a little bit, but he's able to keep that car in the pack and stay in very competitive still. Oh, as these guys, 3, 4 wide, they're all wrecking behind him here.
The yellow flag is out.
And there it is. Yellow flag is out. I'm going to go take a quick look at that.
It looks like the 97 here in the 08.
Jeff Ramsdale and the 08 of Dylan Basin.
Yeah, I don't know if they just lost where they were. It looks like they were 3 or 4 wide. The 97 trying to get around the 47, and there just wasn't a hole there for 4 wide at that time.
Yeah, we're going to jump in a far chase view of Jeff Ramsdale's 97 machine. Take a quick view of
the 97 got loose coming off of 4. That's what triggered this accident here.
Well, they were 4 wide and then just a wheel hop into the 17 and just collecting.
Yeah, so it looks like some net code there, collecting them, and a couple other guys too. Yeah, going back a little bit, I was able to review the wreck a little bit more. 97 in the middle of 3 and 4 gets loose on exit. Might have clipped the apron a little bit, causing a checkup. The 47 kind of goes to the inside, and they try to go 3, 4 wide there, and track ain't quite wide enough for that.
Trying to bring you that real fast. Well, we're going to go back and take a look at exactly what you were just talking about with the number 97. I also saw the 36 as well, a little squirrely there, of Richard Crane.
Yeah, and if you get a little bit loose here, it can be a little scary when you get into a pack with a bunch of these guys here, man. Yeah, coming off of turn 4, we're seeing it here. 97 gets loose and causes a little bit of a scramble, and they try to go 4 wide, and 97 was trying to give the 47 room, and the 08 was like, I'm coming through.
And we got pit stops.
Yeah, these guys are well within, not the window to make it to the end, but they had a nice little 20-lap run there. Going to see some more fuel and potentially some more tires here, too.
Yeah, they have unlimited tires, but I think this would be the perfect time to take tires. While it might not be necessary to take it all the time, might be a very good idea to at least take them at least once, maybe twice, to get a little more grip, as we're going to see Mike Robinson drop all the way back to 6th. But we got to take a look at that 78, Ted Decker Jr. As we were looking at Mike Robinson, that 78 completely misses his pit stall.
And he has to go back. And you missed your pit stall here. That's seconds on pit road, and that also means positions on the racetrack too. And he tried to get in there and then missed it, and then backs it in. Maybe he pulls forward. I don't know what he's doing. There he goes.
Yeah, a lot of time lost on.
A lot
pit
of time
road.
lost right there on pit road.
And he was.
Well,
running...
we got a little bit of time here before green flag. Let's pull a driver up for an interview real quick.
Let's do it. Who do you want?
We'll pull Robinson up here. 1 second. Mike Robinson, 60 machine. Wells in the booth. You got a copy.
Great copy.
You got a great copy. Well, we got AJ here in the booth as well. Talk about your race so far here, bud. You started mid-pack, 20th position. Led some laps there for a little bit. Was able to keep your stuff in line there, keep the car clean, and now it looks like you're still solidly in the top 10 around the 6th position. Talk about your race so far, bud.
Crazy. It is crazy. I'm not gonna lie. It's something else. I forgot how these Xfinity cars drive, and I'm just lucky to be up here. I'm about to pull a Dick Trickle right now because this race is stressful.
Yeah, this race can definitely be stressful here at Daytona for sure. And talk about these guys a little bit. I know we're 1 to green. I'll finish up here. Last question. How different is it between the next-gen Cup car and the Xfinity car here at Daytona? You've experienced both worlds here within the last couple of days.
Oh, it's different. These cars got a lot more horsepower. They like to lean on that right side. It's nuts. It's a different drive. You got to fight the car. I don't know if you guys caught it, but I got pushed by Sammy Harrell coming out of 4, and had my own Kyle Busch moment. So
yeah, and you were able to save that race car. So keep wheeling and dealing out here, Mike, and we'll hopefully we'll be talking to you soon.
Yeah, I hope so.
See you later, Mike. Good luck.
All
Thank-
right. Oh, kind of cut him off there. My bad. I'm quick with the moves here. But, just to kind of touch up on a little bit too, him and CJ Ullman there in the 79, they are in the same lobby together. So when they were drafting together earlier, could be some negotiation, a little bit of working together there in that moment.
Absolutely, 100% could be a little bit of a team talk. But up front, you got Devin Mosley on the outside, followed by right behind him, Noah Wilson on the inside, Samuel Harrell, and Philip Bridgman. 2 admins on the outside. In the
Green
5
flag,
and
green
8,
flag.
and we are green.
Yeah, it looks like the 5 picked the outside on this restart. He's going to take the 8 of Noah Wilson with him. And looks like they're going to try to get clear of the 43. Not going to be able to quite do it in turn 1, so they're going to stay to the outside and work together. 43 getting a little bit of a run here. He's got that push on the inside line now from the 48. And they're going to be dead heat side by side here at the exit of turn number 2.
Yeah, there's really no help on that outside. You got the 88 of Patrick Anderson but he is just still a couple car lengths away as he's pulling right back up to the back bumper of Noah Wilson. And look at that outside. It is Mike Robinson as well.
Yeah, Mike Robinson as the 88 comes down to pull back to the inside here, the racetrack. Here comes the 60 of Mike Robinson. He's going to try to suck up to that 8 car, and he's got a little bit of help from Terry Khan right behind him there.
Yeah, he's going to have a little help from Terry Khan, like you said, but it's going to come in just a little while. As it looks like
yeah, but here comes the 21.
Chris Spencer moves his way up to the top. This outside line could very much be a good group of drivers to try to make that outside line work. And Gary, you've been watching.
Oh, they're getting a little squirrely here in the back. Sorry.
You're good. Are they still alive?
They're still alive. No wreck yet. They're good. They sorted it out. I thought they were all going to crash right there.
So, Gary, we see a lot of times where they will just go single file and they'll try to move that line to the outside. Can you give our viewers a little bit of an insight on why they move that lane to the outside?
Like when they go single file?
Yes.
Well, really, it's a couple of things. I mean, you could stay wide open more so up there on the high side. You get more momentum up there. It's easy. I've heard at times it's easier to save your tires and save fuel up there on that high side. And really, you just go up there to log some laps if you go single file up there. And what I've always been told is this here at a place like Daytona and Talladega, it is a lot easier to make a block going from high to low than low to high. So usually when you try to see guys take that high side and make the high side the way to go around the racetrack, at the end of the race, when they try to make a move to the inside, you are able to make that block a lot easier.
Oh, here comes that outside led by Philip Bridgman.
Yeah, Philip there trying to make it work. You got a lot more powerhouse drivers up here on that outside lane now, especially with Philip and with the 5 there, Devin Mosley, and the 8 of Noah Wilson, trying to make that outside lane work. But it's gonna be a tough task.
It's gonna be tough, but here comes a run once that 60 of Robinson.
48 of, the 57 of Will Cloud says, I'm good for right now. I'm gonna drop back a little bit. Let you guys keep on here.
But as they maneuver lap 31, we're moving right along, almost at halfway already.
Yeah, almost to halfway already, and these guys, not a whole lot of big wreck incidences here. Just a couple of cars here and there, and hopefully it stays that way, because you know us up here in the booth, we don't like to see torn up race cars. We'd like to see as many guys as we can here finish the race.
Exactly. We're not monsters.
Not all the time, anyway.
Yeah, exactly. I was going to add that as well, but I figured you were going to chime in on that. But you're watching.
Oh, the 60 trying to make it 3 wide, Mike Robinson.
Uh-oh.
And it wasn't really there for 3 wide, so he's going to lose a couple of spots here. Maybe not, though. Everybody's kind of in between lines at the moment here.
It looks like Chris Spencer wanted that position in front of Mike Robinson.
Oh, and he's going to go to the bottom. That was a risky move. I thought he was going to spin out there right in front of the 36 car.
So did I. Not going to lie.
Another good save there by the 60.
But that outside lane being led by Philip Bridgman, not really going anywhere. They had a lot of help, but once that bottom lane started moving again, they all jumped ship straight to that inside lane.
Yep, and you're going to see a lot of that here, especially here at Daytona, where the bottom lane will be favored for a little while, and everybody's just going down there to log some laps. But then, whether it's impatience or they want to see what their car can do, then after a few laps, everybody kind of gets gathered back up, and they'll try another move to the high side. So it's a lot of comers and goers, and seeing who wants to show what they have here.
So a little bit of admin talk here. Got Chase Baker in the YouTube chat saying the 79 of CJ Altman had to go 1 lap down because he had a black flag cleared by mistake when he was not supposed to. He volunteered to serve the penalty during the race, so he is 1 lap down.
Well, what a sportsmanship move there by the 79, willing to own up to the mistake there and be like, hey, you know what? I'll come down here and I'll take a pass through.
Yep. It's better to do it now than get penalized after the race.
Yeah, after the race, then you get penalized, tail end of the lead lap or wherever they really put you there at the end of the race, and that's no fun either.
No, it is not. But everybody, chat room's open. Come say hi to us, Gary and AJ in the Nerds Doing Nerd Things broadcast booth, as I just pulled that out of my butt there. But we are here down in Daytona Beach at the Daytona International Speedway for the Daytona Under 200. How many times can I say Daytona in the last few minutes?
You said quite a bit there.
Yes, it did. But it is the Thunderstorm League of Racing, their Season 4 opening event. And it has been a heck of a show right now as our two leaders got Harrell and Bridgman right up front, pretty much side by side for the last couple laps now.
Yeah, side by side for the last couple of laps, and again, they're just trying to log laps here on that outside lane, working pretty good with the lack of numbers that they have. But again, they're able to stay real close and be able to take the lead. And there goes the 48 of Phil. He's going to go down to the bottom of the racetrack here and stay kind of down there. Usually for here at Daytona, if you want to control the race and take both lanes, you really want that inside lane and the corners and the outside lane in the straightaways. That really seems to be the way to go if you do want to consider blocking, but that's more of a late in the race kind of a move, not necessarily here about 4 or 5 laps to halfway.
Exactly. That's a very good point. Oh, as Harrell gets really loose.
Oh, and the 88 gets loose too, and the guy behind him gets loose, and they all save it.
That's Isaac
Very
Wilson
nice.
in the 93 Mission 22 Chevy Camaro.
Yeah, they all kept on digging there, and they were able to keep their cars straight, so kudos to those guys.
But Devin Mosley, Noah Wilson to the point. Followed by Mike Robinson and Philip Rickman.
And here comes Robinson to the outside lane again, hoping maybe he can get a little help from the 21. And the 21's going to give him a big run and maybe a push for the exit of turn 4 to maybe lead a lap. We'll just have to see how it folds here.
Well, I thought it was going to fold very well, but it looked like both Robinson and Spencer were very not lined up for that push, so it kind of ate up that momentum there.
Yeah, it kind of eats up your momentum. And another thing as well is, you pull out a line, you're a car by yourself, and the other guy's about a couple car lengths back. They pick up a lot of speed, and so it could be as much as 10 to 20 mile an hour difference by the time you get to somebody's back bumper. And sometimes you have no choice but to lift. Now, late in the race, we're not going to see them lift. If they pull out like that late on in the race, they're going to run them right over. They're just going to give them a push. They don't care what happens after that.
Yeah, sorry, pal. It is go time, I think is what they call it.
Go time, and again, everybody wants to win here at Daytona, whether it's a real life race or if it's virtual. You want to have that on your resume as a Daytona winner.
It's very, very true. I have tried to win at Daytona countless times. My closest finish is second by .0021. To actually one of my other co-hosts on Monday night, TJ Barnier.
TJ's very good at the speedways.
He is disgusting at speedways, and that's where I learned a lot of my speedway knowledge. Try to use the draft. Not just think Dale Jr. all the time.
Yeah, absolutely. And side drafting here, we haven't seen these guys do it a whole lot, but we will see it toward the end of the race. A way where we see these guys kind of get a run on the high side too, is if you could pinch, the lead guys here to the bottom of the racetrack a little bit longer, because they do need to naturally come up just a little bit on exit of these corners, as we see the A8 car tap the apron there a little bit. If you could pinch the car beneath you just a little bit lower than what they would like, you could definitely get a run that way too with that side draft.
Yeah, you just got to be careful with that side draft. It's very easy to hook somebody by accident. And if you're hooking somebody from that inside lane, they are going headfirst into that outside wall.
Yes, sir, they are. And that is not a good predicament to be in, especially if you do VR here on iRacing. That's you got to close your eyes there for a minute if you have motion sickness.
Yeah, we know a couple drivers that use that VR, And I think Mike Robinson in that 60 is one of them. Last night in his race actually hurt his wrist from one of those accidents.
Yeah, it's especially with these wheels nowadays, they basically, they could pretty much have a real race car for the computer. And basically what Mike has is he's got a Fanatec wheel, he's got the force feedback turned up pretty high, and he's also got a NASCAR rim from, I believe, Max Pappas Incorporated, MPI, and when he got hit on the first hit, the wheel kind of jerked out of his hand and then hit his wrist again, and kind of messed up his wrist there for a couple minutes. He's lucky that he didn't break his wrist in that accident last night.
Yeah, very lucky in that indeed, because it doesn't take much, especially in awkward motion. But here comes Spencer and Robinson on that outside with another charge, just the two of them. But
yeah, they're trying to make it work up there, but it's going to be interesting here. We're just past halfway in this race. Now, this is where Robinson and I are a little bit different. If I'm seeing 2 or 3 cars, we're not really organized on the outside lane. I'm also kind of looking, if I see a hole on the inside lane, I'm going to take it for a couple laps just to kind of rebuild my momentum a little bit and just give myself a little bit of a mental break as I'm driving.
Well, you mentioned,
because sometimes being the leader and especially being on the high lane, it can be a very mentally stressful situation.
Well, you mentioned that outside lane not getting a lot of help, but here it comes.
Yeah, it's starting to form a little bit now, and Noah's thinking about going to the outside there in the 8 car. Thought better of it. But the 21 and the 12 there, they got some help. Here comes the 33 and the 04.
The cavalry has arrived.
We've kind of got the outside lane back together here, so to speak. Very organized now. So it should really help the 60 here now. 21 has a little bit of support behind him, so maybe they can get a little bit of a bigger push.
Yeah, with that outside lane, it's easier on the inside to hold the line. You see that double yellow line, just stay
and
right
it's your
on
best
that.
friend.
Yeah, exactly, your best friend. That outside lane, I think, is a little more difficult because that's where we see a lot of deviation of, okay, do you stay middle, do you stay high?
Do you go high up here right where these hash marks are? Do you go right to the seam? Kind of where do you go? And another thing, too, I mean, when you're on the high side and there's a wreck, you're kind of screwed because you really don't have a whole lot of options of where to go other than just stop. And it's hard to stop a race car going 190 miles an hour. So even on the bottom lane here at Daytona, it's your best bet because you have the grass. You have the apron. You have other options and means to get out of a wreck if you have to.
Exactly. As here is that big push from that outside.
Here's that big push we've been talking about the last couple laps here, like you were just about getting ready to say here. And Mike is gonna make it to the inside and get right in front of that 5 car.
Very good move. Great push from the 21 of Chris Spencer.
You better thank him later for that push.
Completely left out to dry, but you got to do what you got to do.
Got to do what you got to do. Now it's going to be interesting for that 21 car to lead this outside lane. He's got a little bit of damage, but even so, he's got the 12 car giving him a heck of a push down this back straightaway, and he might be able to lead this lap.
Yeah, he very much might be able to.
The 6 got loose, the 5 got loose, everybody's getting loose, and now there's a big
The yellow flag is out.
Philip Bridgman
Big
hard
here
into the wall. That 48 is completely destroyed.
Well, and on that note, the 20... Oh, another hard hit.
He gets hit again on the driver's side.
Aren't you glad this is virtual cars and not real race cars?
Yeah, but some people are crazy and turn that force feedback, like we were mentioning, all the way up. So that could actually
Well, you don't have to worry
hurt.
about... Yeah, it can hurt your wrist, but... be glad you don't have to worry about broken ankles or broken legs by getting T-boned.
Kyle Busch a couple of years ago here at Daytona in an Xfinity race.
Well, and even Carson Hocevar this year at Gateway.
Did you see that? That started with Mike Robinson clipping the apron and almost losing it, causing a huge checkup.
Yeah, his getting loose right there after clipping the apron. That's what really caused that whole checkup there and caused that whole incident. But yeah, especially with the 60. This double yellow line, and that's something we really haven't talked about much. It's pretty deceiving because you think that double yellow line is not the apron, but it's kind of half and half. The upper line, the right side of the double yellow line, it's still on the racetrack a little bit, where the bottom portion of that yellow line, that is actually the apron. So it could get pretty deceiving down there.
But here we go, back to pit stops, and Mike Robinson actually staying out. We will be right back. Gonna go say hi to the nerds doing nerd things one more time.
From Mordor to Hogwarts to Gotham, the nerds have come together to create a show for nerds by nerds. Join nerds doing nerd things as they talk about all things nerdy. Stay up to date on the show by liking the Nerds Doing Nerd Things Facebook page.
And we are back. That is the Nerds Doing Nerd Things, the podcast open. Every Tuesday, they live stream new episodes. Last night, they talked about Thor: Love and Thunder, the new Marvel movie, what actually comes out on Disney Plus tomorrow. Gotta thank everybody for tuning into that live stream. It is out on all podcasting apps tonight. So go check it out after the race, or go over to their YouTube page, the Nerds Doing Nerd Things podcast, and give that a watch. It's a great
podcast.
Gary's a wonderful viewer of trying to get me and my wonderful co-host Susie to break character. But our other channel sponsor is Wrestling Over Everything. If you're into wrestling, whether WWE, TNA, AEW, or New Japan, or any indies, go check it out. It's a lot of fun, a lot of things to talk about. But all links to the sites are in the description below. And Gary, I know there's something you want to do right now. Why don't we go talk to the driver of the number 8, Noah Wilson?
Noah Wilson, Wells in the booth. You got a copy?
Yes, sir, I do.
All right. Sorry if we pulled you mid conversation there, but
It's all
talk
right.
about your race. I mean, you were just involved in that wreck. How's your engine? Is it at full song, or are we just kind of limping around to the end of this thing for the last 30 laps?
No, we're 100% fine. Just a 30-second. It was probably cosmetic. No engine damage. I'm still 2,000 RPMs. But we're all good there. I think the race overall, from my perspective, it's going pretty well. I think these guys are a little squirrely a little bit, but other than that, I think so far the race is no two complaints. It's been pretty clean, and yeah, that's just kind of just riding around, I guess. But it's a decent race so far, I think, and I'm all right.
Decent race so far. We've seen a couple of guys in turn 4 hit that apron, and it's come back to haunt them a little bit. It's caused a couple of the incidences here tonight. You still got a fast repair in your back pocket for later if you need it?
Yes, sir, I definitely do. And now that I'm back here in the pack, I took that 30-second of repairs. I might need it. Hopefully I won't, but got 33 laps to make it happen. I don't know if we'll be good on fuel. It's going to be close, so betting on one more caution at least, and hopefully I'm not involved.
Absolutely. Well, we'll let you get back to it here, and good luck the rest of the way.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
All right, thanks, Noah.
All right. Sorry, one to go. I'm kind of trying to move as fast as I can here for these guys.
Yeah, I got that the minute he started talking fast and then you started talking fast. I'm like, am I just in slow motion?
No, we got a half lap before the green.
But look at this. Mike Robinson, like we mentioned, stayed out.
That's a ballsy move there. We'll see how it pays off for him, but staying out.
The 98, Garrett Britton up 37 positions to be outside front row for this restart. But here we go.
Green, green, green.
Robinson already on the loud pedal. He's going to take off here. A great restart. You really don't want this kind of a restart at Daytona, but it should hold up for him pretty good. He's got the 31 behind him. He's got a little bit of rear end damage. And, you know, during that interview with Noah, I thought it was very interesting, saying that he still has a fast repair and he's banking on one more caution. Hopefully he doesn't need to use it, but he has it. And I think Mike, from a pit strategy sequence, I think he's banking on one more caution too to make the fuel strategy work here a little bit.
Yeah, look at this battle up front, 2 by 2 by 2 by 2, and then just queue up a couple more rows. But right now, that 31 of David Cabrera, you know, making his way back up towards the front.
Got a little bit of rear end damage, so it's going to hurt him a little bit. But here comes the 20. Zeke Willis been kind of quiet here so far. He's going to look to go from 4th to 1st here in a lap, and he's not going to lead it. He's not going to lead that lap.
But right now, he is sitting almost clear of Mike Robinson until they hit turn 1. But we saw that 20 of Willis, 2-3 laps in, say, I'm out, I'm going to the back. And then halfway through that first half of the race, which didn't make any sense in my head for a second, he was working with J.D. Laird in the 22. And actually looking for J.D., he is listed as a lap down, sitting in 29th. But right now, Zeke Willis doing front to back and then back to front.
Oh, the 98 up into the fence. Oh, anxiety. Sorry.
I'm happy I do not own any of these vehicles because I'd be probably biting my nails
cha-ching,
off right
cha-ching,
now.
cha-ching, cha-ching. Oh, man. These guys they give me all kinds of excitement. Oh, the 60 touching the apron again.
Do you think Robinson would realize, hey, I kind of caused that wreck with...
Caution, yellow flag.
Oh, we got a yellow. We got a caution. I don't know where from or who or what, but we got a yellow.
Ooh, they're wrecking in front of that. Hold on. Let's go to the center field cam. Let's see if we see anything.
39 is upset with the incident, so maybe he got involved in the wreck here. 39, maybe the 7.
Take a quick look. The 7 is Jarrett Manning.
Yeah, I don't know if I can't really see anything. I don't know about you, AJ.
You said the 39?
Yeah, I don't know if maybe the 7 pushed the 39 going into the corner, but
Yeah, we're not really getting anything. I think timing and scoring is kind of being a little
wonky. New updates. It happens.
Well, we are going to go to the front of the pack. See if we could see something.
It was definitely toward the back, but I'm not sure what happened. They were saying it sounded like it happened on corner entry going into turn 1, so.
Well, you got a lot of these drivers on
the lead lap still, yeah. Looks like about 30-ish cars still on the lead lap. I think it's just one of those things where we ain't going to be able to find it, AJ.
Well, I'm trying for our wonderful viewers right now.
Oh, I know you are. Here we go.
We'll see if we can get a quick look here. We're kind of on the back of the pack right now with Jeff Ramsdale in that number 97. There's the 36 of Richard Crane as they enter turn 1. So far, so good. There's the 47 of Sean Lester. I think it might have been the 97 on how he just turned there.
Yeah, it could be. Hard telling.
But we are going to go live. Unfortunately, we cannot bring you the wreck. Unfortunately, iRacing with the new update is causing some issues with replay and such. But right now, Zeke Willis sitting in first, followed by David Cabrera third. Chris Spencer doing a great job getting to the front. Fourth, Patrick Anderson. And then fifth, Samuel Harrell. So as we're in the second half of this race, Gary, anything standing out to you about some drivers making moves?
I mean, everybody's been kind of keeping it easy right now. I mean, there's really nothing that these guys could do. I mean, they're going to be right here in their pit window now with this caution. More laps they run under yellow, the better for these guys. But it's been a pretty fairly clean race so far. So these guys have been doing a heck of a job for sure.
Now, when you think of possibly pitting here and being good to the end, do you think about taking tires?
Well, it really just depends on the situation of where you're at. If you're in the back half of the lead lap, say around anywhere from 25th to 30th,
Well, it's
20th
okay.
to
Nobody's
30th,
pitting anyway.
no one's really no takers really. Yeah, everybody's staying out. If it was me, if I'm in the back half of this field, I'm going to take 4 tires just to give, myself that little bit of grip. And then I can take off on these restarts and be aggressive if I have to. But it's not quite aggressive time yet. We're still about 10 or so laps away from that. So these guys just trying to keep it clean and make it to the end. And honestly, right now you're in fuel conservation mode.
Yeah, I would not be surprised if we see a couple of drivers or hear a couple of drivers actually shut off the vehicle to save some fuel. But
yeah, you can either shut the car off here, AJ, or you can punch in that clutch. Usually does a good trick as well.
I remember one year, I know it was on a road course, but Marcus Ambrose going up the S's, I think at Sonoma.
Notice that Sonoma, yep. Turned the car off and couldn't get it fired back up. And that's, I think everybody learned, but I thought it was common knowledge even back then. You don't want to turn off your car going up a hill to save fuel. Doesn't really work.
Oh, maybe because he's from down under, it was backwards. You don't want to do it down.
Well, yeah, I mean, it could have been one of those things. He was also going for his first win at the time too, so he probably had a lot on his mind as he was riding around under caution there at Sonoma.
Well, Gary, it looks like we're 2 by 2, ready to go green one more time. But coming to this green flag, we're going to take you to a
Green flag, green flag.
It up, enjoy. Crank it up from Daytona International Speedway.
Welcome, race fans, back to Daytona International Speedway. That was our Crank It Up. I just want to give a shout out to our channel partners once again, Nerds Doing Nerd Things Podcast and Wrestling Over Everything, as you've seen in the bottom right-hand portion of your screen. I want to give a shout out to IDK Player. Thanks for commenting here in the chat. I know you're one of the bigger NASCAR YouTubers out there, so good to see you here in chat, rooting on David Cabrera there in the number 31 machine. Giving you an update on David here. He's running pretty solid here. Third car in line on the outside. Been staying around the top 10, top 15 all night. Good to see him trying to flirt with that top 5 as we got cars all over the racetrack here. Car in the wall there, 36, 97, everybody else all piled up here in the back.
Well, good thing we came back at a good time because wow, that was a Daytona style wreck.
That was definitely the most Daytona thing I've ever seen at Daytona. You're going to get a good view of that 97 car there.
Jeff,
Looks like kind of a victim there in this situation here.
see it here. They're already sideways.
Yeah, they're already sideways back here. And again, we talked about it a little bit earlier, but I think everybody's starting to lose patience with it. But this accordion effect here, especially at Daytona, is very real. As you see, someone clipped the apron again. I think it was the 98 got loose, and then everybody you see is checking up, and 36 and the 16 get together with net code. 97 spins around, and a couple other cars just pile in the back.
I feel bad for Jeff Ramsdale in that 97. He's
been running pretty good, but he's kind of been involved in some stuff too, AJ.
Exactly where I was going to go with that. It's like he just can't get out of his own way. Like, he's doing everything right, but
and it just gets caught up in stuff in front of him, man. It happens. That's the nature of the beast here at Daytona.
Yeah, look at Daytona just 2 weeks ago. Half the field wrecked in turn 1 when there was a not quick shower, but they go through turn 1 the lap before, perfectly fine. Turn 1 that time, 90% of the field wrecks.
Yeah, it kind of gave me some vibes to a real-life race back in 2001. The NASCAR All-Star race, they throw the green flag for the beginning of the race, and then all of a sudden it starts raining. They go down to turn 1, and everybody wrecks. But because it was the All-Star race, AJ, you know what they had those guys do after that?
Uh-oh.
They had them get their backup cars ready. But there was some guys... NASCAR officials weren't quite ready to send everybody through tech a second time. So there were some people and reports, because Jeff Gordon won this race, and this is in the middle of Gordon's prime when he was winning all those championships. They didn't send him through tech a whole lot, so there may have been some souped up cars there during the All-Star race after the rains came.
So why don't we talk to the driver of the number 93, Isaac Wilson. Isaac Wilson, AJ, and Gary in the ND&D broadcast booth. You got a copy, pal?
Yeah, what's going on, guys?
Hey, dude, heard you were a little slideways going through the grass, through the tri-oval. Glad to see the car looks fine, but how's your race going so far?
Other than kind of being by myself and not having anyone to work with, it's going good. Was getting a little frustrated earlier. I had damage, and I was able to keep the draft, but no one behind me wanted to get in my back bumper to keep me in the draft, so I used my fast repair because I'm not going to have to pit again for fuel, so I was like, I might as well use it now if I get wrecked, oh well. But overall, this race is going really well. I think we had 4 or 5 cautions today.
I can tell you in 2 seconds. This is the 5th caution. You guys are doing a wonderful job.
Yeah, I was hoping to. We almost had green flag pit stops in one of the green flag runs. I was really hoping to get them done because I'm really good at making those pit stops work and getting a lot of ground. But it's gonna be a shootout from here on out. So hopefully, guys don't get too aggressive too early.
Well, it's Daytona. I think we're gonna see the aggression go straight up, but you're gridding up, getting ready to go green one more time. But we'll let you go. Isaac, it was good to chat with you. Before we let you go, talk about Mission 22.
Mission 22. It is a program that is all privately funded. It is basically they fund programs for veterans to be able to go to if they're going through a hard time. They call it Mission 22 because 22 veterans today commit suicide, whether they're active duty or prior service. So it hits home. I had a buddy while I was in the military, and unfortunately took his own life. So any chance I get, I run this scheme or autism awareness scheme. So I like running it and spreading awareness for it because a lot of people don't know what it is.
All right, brother. Well, thank you for running it, and thank you for running the autism awareness. I remember that from last season. What channel would you like me to send you back to, pal?
Just pull for racing. I'll go back down there by myself again.
All right, that is the driver of the number 93, driving that Mission 22 Mako Tools scheme there. You know, talking to Isaac
good cause, but he's supporting too.
Quite a bit last year, knowing somebody just like he has in the military that unfortunately took their own life, and actually having a family member with autism, he hits home on both of those schemes. Overall, Isaac's a great person, and throughout the season last year, you see how he started and then where he finished. He was my pick to get most improved driver from the whole season. I think he finished second in that voting. But going back to green here, gonna be interesting with 19 laps to go.
Yeah, going to be interesting.
Green.
You know, as we're seeing the green flag here, the 43 on the loud pedal. It's got a good push here from the 88 car of Patrick Anderson. These guys getting ready to get down here to the bottom of the barrel here of this race. It's going to be critical. Track position going to be key. People are going to be pushing and shoving and trying to make some desperate moves. But to his point, they were on the verge of green flag pit stops there, and one of their green flag runs early on in this race. I thought it was going to happen, but it didn't. They got a wreck about 5 to 10 laps before they were going to pit, but that was going to be a very big wild card in this race too, because if you can't get on and off pit road here, you could forget about winning this race.
Exactly. Look at that bottom line go. Once Philip Bridgman got to the back bumper of Anderson, they just took off on that inside lane, but here comes the 40 of Gary Wright to help out.
Yeah, here comes Gary Wright to help out here. He's going to join the inside lane. We got the 20 here. He's hanging on there with David Cabrera on the outside lane. That's pretty much it for help. The 40 of Gary Wright, he's kind of bouncing between both lanes. Not sure which lane to go into. If I was him, I would just kind of stay right where he's at, right there on the bottom lane, and see what else can develop behind him. Got a couple of cars with some damage, and it's going to be interesting if they can make it on fuel to the end if they decide to, or if they can't, they're definitely going to have to come in and pit and maybe take that fast repair here toward the end of this race.
Well, we know a couple drivers that have been saving that fast repair. Well, look at this, 2x2x2, but here comes the 04 of Steve Accardi, our Season 2 champion, on that inside lane of that second pack, coming with a full head of steam.
Yeah, he's looking pretty good here. The 78 still with him as well. Ted Deckard, we haven't really talked about him much other than the beginning of the race when he was running up front. He's getting a big push here from the 8 of Noah Wilson. Oh, we got the 40 car on the 8.
Yellow flags.
Big wreck here at the front. 88 sideways.
Huge wreck. Mike Robinson involved. J.D. Laird involved. Jeff Ramsdale.
Yeah, definitely hate to see it. Let's see what happened here. Looks like the 88 got right reared here, but I have to see on the Nerds Doing Nerd Things replay. Oh!
Wow.
A little bit of net code amongst the 31 and the 40 perhaps here. And it's amazing how many times we could see these guys wreck on a straightaway.
And this takes out about 20 drivers. Here it is, going from the Patrick Anderson machine. Oh,
yeah, and here at Daytona, man, the straightaways are so narrow. I mean, it's kind of, you either go toward the wall or you kind of go in the grass, and some of these guys just know where to go because these guys are just spun sideways in the middle of the track. Kind of blocks everything up.
Aaron Cavan, the 15 of, looking for it, Charles Bachman. So many drivers. Josh
and that's the most aggravating thing, not only driving into the wreck, but if you're the guy that's at the beginning of the wreck, you know what I mean? Like in the 88's position here, you're just going along, you're just chilling, nothing's really happening. Then these two guys here, the 40 and the 31, get together a little bit, and then it just turns you dead sideways. That is probably the most aggravating thing as a driver.
That was a huge wreck involving a lot of drivers who
a lot of
already
good cars in
used
this
their
wreck.
fast repair.
Yeah, we're going to see who has one left and who doesn't, that's for sure.
Exactly what we're going to check is, here come the drivers down pit road. For anybody watching on All-Star 15 for your first time, hit that like button, subscribe to All-Star 15. We will see the Thunderstorm League of Racing every Wednesday at 7:45 Eastern. But some cars getting perfectly redone, damage fixed. Driver,
and some not so lucky, AJ.
some not so lucky at all. Currently looking at that 8 of Noah Wilson. Very slow, trying not to blow the motor where he ends up stopped on the racetrack. And there it goes. Motor expires, having to jump the pit road.
Having to jump to pit road. Some guys getting their fast repair. I know the 60 had one. He took his fast repair here under this caution. I believe the 8, possibly, maybe not sure. Did he have to take a tow?
The 8 did have to take a tow, unfortunately.
Oh, that's unfortunate. Noah was running really good too. Excuse me, there y'all. Hiccups, they happen.
Yes, they do happen. But I appreciate everybody joining in the chat. Is it
Pretty
me, or
much
does
anybody
Gary
that
sound
was
a
in the
bit
top
like-
5 wasn't involved in that wreck.
Trying to figure out what Chase is talking about. He goes, "Is it me, or does Gary sound a bit like Ralph Shasheen?"
Ralph Shaheen? I
I've
haven't heard that one before.
I don't even know who that is.
You don't know who Ralph Shaheen is?
No, should I?
I'll show you some YouTube stuff later.
Oh, dear God.
He was a good announcer. He was a good pit reporter, that's for sure. And he was really good for, he does motocross and Monster Jam. He did do NASCAR on TNT after Bill Weber got fired.
Oh, boy.
I probably shouldn't have mentioned that here, but it happened.
Sorry if I just blew out people's eardrums. That was actually kind of funny.
He did get fired. I won't say what for, because it's a little bit of a hot topic in this country right now.
Oh, dear. Yeah, don't. I appreciate you
Yeah.
not.
Yeah, trying to keep it clean here.
Which I take very much pride in, keeping this
Absolutely.
keeping this some sort of family friendly until we start talking to drivers and they're like talking about how mad they are and stuff.
Yeah, and these guys are saying there's potential yet for another big one. So
Oh,
it's gonna be interesting as we're getting ready to come to what 12, 13 to go here when we take the green.
that would be correct. We're gonna be taking that green with 13 to go. As we're looking at this beautiful grandstand camera, kind of giving
And
you
that beautiful lake. Look at that. You want to know how that lake came to be? Do you know about that, AJ?
No, I don't. But if you can tell me before we get going, it'd be great.
I will. It was that lake came to be when they were digging the banks for this racetrack.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Did not know that.
Now you know. The more you know.
I was gonna
You're
say,
on, All-Star AJ
Ring, ring,
All-Star
ring.
15.
Well, it's All-Star 15 TV. I don't want to put, age.
No.
Didn't want to sound that narcissistic.
Well, here we go. Back under green flag here, side by side once again. 2 by 2. 20 doesn't have a whole lot of help though.
Oh, here it comes though.
Oh, the old 4 is going to try to sneak his way in there. There he goes.
And Harrell tries to go block, can't make it. But that 04 of a Cardi is definitely going to help Zeke Willis get that front spot.
Yeah, he sure is. And they are on it here. They are. Oh, the 97's involved. 31's involved.
Yellow
98.
flag.
We got another big one here at Daytona. And I think that is going to do it for a lot of guys here. Oh, they were trying to make it 3 wide there when there was no hole for 3 wide.
That's going to end it, like you said, for a lot of drivers.
Yeah, looks like the 51 had to check up, and that caused the 60 to go haywire, and they were still 3 wide going into turn 3, and there was no room for the 31, and they all just wrecked.
Actually, we're going to go back just a little further. Going to try to get a look at that 60. We'll jump on board with the 60 of Mike Robinson because we're going to get a heck of a view here.
Yeah, unfortunately we're gonna get a heck of a view, and he just uses fast repair too, and that's just the nature of the beast here at Daytona. AJ.
He was doing fine. Gets up on the racetrack, and there goes everything happening in front of him.
And if he could have just gone a little bit lower and didn't get sideways right there, I think he would have been okay. AJ.
A lot of people, hard hits.
Let's go on board with that number 60 car here.
Oh, you're yes, sir. For anybody who
Let's get a cockpit view of this.
For anybody who could be watching in VR, which I don't know why you'd be watching YouTube in VR, but please look at your TV because you're probably gonna get sick through this.
Viewer discretion's advised with the sunboard. And you just see
good.
right there,
And there he goes.
as he's getting down back onto the apron, he gets a little bit sideways, and that's when the 97 had just come down the racetrack. And I don't care how many brakes you're holding, AJ, even if you're holding the brake pedal here, as you're coming down these 31 degrees of banking, the car's still going to come down. So just one of those things where if there two things didn't happen, if the 97 didn't come down after he was involved in his little deal, and if Mike didn't get loose on the apron, it would have made it through that wreck.
Well, you know what this is going to do?
And it's the little things here at Daytona, AJ, that just separate you from being in the wreck versus not being in the wreck.
Well, you know what this is going to completely do, right? It's going to give us another restart and another chance for somebody to try to overthrow Willis or Harrell in that top lane. Not top lane, but the top row.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see. And that 20, we saw all night. I mean, he had bided his time, was taking his time in the back there. He knows his 10 laps to go, so things are just going to get a little bit wild here as we're getting down toward the end of this thing.
Yeah, wild and crazy racing. It's been a very clean, fun, and eventful race, but when stuff really gets towards the end, everybody's aggression goes straight through the roof, and I think that's exactly what we're seeing. But unfortunately, Jeff Ramsdale, the driver of the 97, involved in another incident he does not create, and I think ends his night now.
Yeah, it's going to end the night for a lot of people here.
Currently on track right now, it looks like we have 20 drivers.
I'm showing 24 on the lead lap, perhaps.
Okay. I'm still having timing and scoring update as they cross the start-finish line once again.
Yeah, it looks like 24, maybe 26, but I think the 15 and the 97 are going to go a lap down. No, they're not. But they are. That 97 almost looks like a modified.
We're going to go take a look at that 97. I'm pretty sure SpongeBob is completely gone off of that car.
Yeah, SpongeBob has made an exit stage left off the hood, but he's still on the side.
There you go. A little scraped up on the side. And like you said, same thing with the 85 of Oscar Henson right behind him. Both cars looking like pretty much modifieds. And as a Northeastern modified fan, yeah, I can see it.
Yeah, it's almost a modified. Take the front end off, and then we got modifieds.
That'd be interesting. Cut the cup cars to look like modifieds, and then race them like that. See what happens.
There you go. Especially around this place. Well, that race won't be very long. I'll tell you that.
Well, you never have to worry about them overheating.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Well, that Ford Mustang iRacing pace car is about to take that left-handed turn down pit road one last time, we hope.
We'll see. Gonna be 9 to go when they take the green.
As Heath Ledger's Joker said, here we go.
Green, green, green.
Barney waving that green flag again. We're back underway at Daytona.
You ever notice that Barney looks like he's going to throw out his shoulder every time he waves that green flag?
I mean, I've always wanted to be a flagman, but that's another story for another time. 43, still got that push from the 48.
Yeah, yes he does. It's the 43.
20 is waiting on that 04, but once they get hooked up, we noticed in that last run they were running pretty quick, so we'll see what happens here, coming off for 2.
Yeah, Steve Accardi, with a lot of experience in these Xfinity iRacing vehicles, won the Season 2 championship in the Thunderstorm League of Racing. Kind of took last season as a part-time role, but looks like to be back full-time here in the Thunderstorm League of Racing, trying to defend that Season 2 championship.
Yeah, and it's one of those things too, AJ. I mean, you know this, during the summertime it gets pretty busy, and so you kind of want to do stuff outside of the sim, and maybe that's what Steve was doing there. So they're coming up on a slow car here. Looks like the lap car is going to be going to the outside of the racetrack here.
I think that is
the number 16
of Josh Kosek.
And that 20 still looking for that help from the 04. hoping he can get it. And the 04 behind him, he's got the 57. 43 going to come up and block to the outside. The 20 ain't going to have anything of it. He's going to get split in the middle.
Harrell, big oopsie, going to block the outside run when he should have just stayed on that inside. He's going to get foxholed.
Oh, no, they're wrecking.
Caution, yellow
They're
flag.
wrecking. Big wreck. Big wreck here, AJ. Oh, my. This is a whole field, my guy.
We got a pile
Holy
up outside
cow.
of turn 4. Wow.
I think there might have been netcode there, AJ.
Well,
As we got a lot of expletives in the race chat here. I'm glad you don't have that playing.
Nope. I take a look
There might have been a little bit of contact there between the 43 and the 22.
I don't know.
Maybe netcode. It's hard telling, brother.
I don't know if that was netcode.
Let's take a look. Oh,
See it right here. This should be a really good view. A very tiny bit, but it looked like that contact was coming either way.
yeah, it looked like that contact was coming either way. I think you're right. 43 just kind of misjudged the space that he had there. He had more room to the outside than he thought, and it's just one of those things where it just collects the whole field, AJ. I mean, really, it collected everybody pretty much.
It very much did. I'm looking for the 35 car.
And it even collected the 20, our buddy here, the 02. If you weren't in the top 2, you were pretty much involved in this wreck.
Well, here's the 35 of Zachary Thornton. Let's see it here. All going to happen in front of him, and I know he's going to get collected. He's in that outside lane, nowhere to go.
Yeah, outside lane, nowhere to go. And you just kind of, as a driver, you're just like, well, I can't go to my low side. You kind of hope for a hole to open up on the outside, and he almost had it made, AJ. He really did.
Look at this. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 cars right in frame.
Yeah, right in frame. That's a third of the field right here, and that's
none of them are going the correct direction.
No, absolutely not. And if everybody still has a fast repair,
which I'd highly
out of
doubt.
those top guys, they're gonna be all right. Which I believe out of all of those guys, I believe the 20 still did Zeke Willis there, but it's gonna be interesting.
That was absolutely pure chaos, and I think that's saying it lightly.
That's definitely saying it lightly.
We have a couple drivers in chat. You got IDK player rooting for David Cabrera, who's currently sitting in that 5th position. You have Isaac Wilson in the 93 sitting in 6th. All right, everybody, now that we are in the crunch time period, who are you rooting for? It's time we want to hear from everybody watching. Who are you rooting for? Who do you think's going to win? 2 different questions, probably with the same answer.
Right. Yeah, IDK player, dang, that could definitely that sums it up right there. And Bake the Snake, I can hear driver chat.
That is Chase Baker, Thunderstorm League of Racing admin. Unfortunately, the issue with his computer wasn't racing in tonight's event. Was going to do his best to play race control, or not play race control, but be race control. But hopefully, with his computer issues, he's being able to do that role.
I don't know if this is still accurate, but as one of his earlier comments was saying, everybody in the top 10 has not won a race in this league. So we are going to have most likely a first-time winner here tonight, AJ.
Yeah,
from the sounds of it.
That is a very good possibility. But then again, just throwing this out there because, devil's advocate, how many times have we seen somebody come from 12th, 15th in 2 laps to win a race at Daytona?
Yeah, that's it's possible. I mean, we saw in the Thunderstorm after that portion. I mean, Cody Ware was running in 2nd.
Yes.
So I mean, anything can happen at Daytona. And to the guy that made $1 million off of his bets a couple weeks ago, I hope he's still working.
I want to be,
but probably not. Right.
the highest running winner in the race right now is sitting in 10th place, and that is JD Laird.
Whew. And he got right hooked there on that last caution, and he's got a faster pair. Well, he doesn't anymore, but he used it, so
And
gonna be an interesting last couple laps.
5 times, I'm pretty sure. But here we go, coming to that green flag, Phillip Bridgman, Devin Mosley. Here we go. Ding, ding, ding.
Green, green, green.
Flag in the air. Bridgman with a heck of a start with Michael Eckhart right behind him.
Yeah, he's got the 26 there of Michael Eckhart right behind him there, as you said, and the 5 next to him on his outside.
Here comes David Cabrera with a great run to the back bumper of the 31.
And he's going to take his faster pair, and he's going to try to go to the front here. See what he could do with a little bit of side drafting here. That momentum's going to die out pretty quick, I think, unless the 26 goes with him, and he does. Going to leave the 48 out to dry. 31.
Phillip Bridgman
Cabrera takes the lead.
Very strong car all race in that 48. Cobalt Tools. Very strong car all race, but it's left out to dry, relegated to that 3rd position for the time being. But David Cabrera in that 31 to the point. Now here comes Michael Eckhart.
And the 31 barely led that lap. Here comes the 26. He's got help from the 48. He's got the 22 behind him. We got a car spinning.
Caution,
the
yellow
26.
flag.
That was our leader.
That was our leader right there. Not sure if
and he's taking a massive tumble.
Not sure he
Wild
was
flip.
clear to come down in front of the 31 of David Cabrera. We're going to look at it here.
I mean, at this point in the race, do you blame the 31 for not lifting?
No.
I mean, he was not clear. 26 is not clear.
Oh, he gets hit by the 1, and he's going through
And
a death
he just
roll.
goes on a wild ride here, AJ.
So
Look at that in the cockpit view.
Whenever a car flips over here on All Star 15 TV, we go cockpit view.
All right.
We're going to take it from the start-finish line here. We're going to jump in.
This is one of the wildest flips we've seen here.
Going to jump into that number 26 of Michael Eckhart. Here it is in its entirety. Here comes death roll number 1 of the season.
And he thought he was clear. He comes down, but he wasn't clear. Nice fire suit door pump clear. I dig it. And he just sees sky ground, sky ground. That's all he sees right here. And he lands on all 4. Sticks the landing.
Ricky Bobby. Yep, this isn't good.
Right. Pretty much. Well, and you know what that means, AJ? We have got a green-white checker. They get 3 attempts here in this league. And looking at some earlier stats, AJ, I believe this is the first time that they're having a green-white checkered finish here.
I think so as well. Thank you to everybody tuning in to All-Star 15 for the broadcast of the Daytona Thunder 200. Stay tuned after the checker. We will be talking to all podium finishers. But until then, we're going to a green-white checkered event for the finish of tonight's race. Glad y'all stopped by. Saw some new faces. Talked to a bunch of you. It's been great fun and can't wait for Las Vegas next week. But we still have a winner to crown here at Daytona. Gary, you mentioned it earlier. What does it mean to win at Daytona?
I mean, it's one of those things, especially when you win the season opening race. You could say that you have won a race at Daytona, and it's a great feeling, especially in a league, because then you could say, I won, especially with some of these more credible leagues, these bigger leagues here. To say that you could win Daytona with good competition, it's a great feeling.
It is a huge feeling. As somebody who, not on iRacing, but other forms of racing, has won, I want to say 2 Daytona 500s. Want to say 2? It's definitely 1. Just coming out of turn 4 or into the tri-oval knowing that you just won one of the biggest races all season. I'm getting goosebumps just thinking about it. I wish you guys could see it. But, a lot of times these league races happen late at night, 9:30, 10 o'clock 11. Each time I've woken up my family and had my beautiful wife come downstairs. And if you ever watched NCIS, Gibbs slapped me in the back of the head as hard as she can. As Gary is pitching it happen.
Knowing your wife, well, not really knowing her, but hearing your wife, yeah, it doesn't surprise me.
Yeah, playing Cards Against Humanity online with the whole race team that you and I both own.
Hey, those are some good times though to be had playing Cards Against Humanity. We don't talk about what cards were played because that is definitely not appropriate for this stream.
No, it
but
is not. No, I also saw a different side of my wife with playing that game.
That can be what ends marriages right there.
I thought that was Monopoly. But the lights
that game too.
Lights are off on that iRacing Ford Mustang. We are just under a lap away from hitting that green, white, checkered, and
not just Monopoly, but Uno too.
Oh, I don't want to talk about Uno. I've lost friends with Uno. Here, draw 4. Oh, you have a draw 4? Draw 8. Oh, draw 12.
Oh, draw! I think I have been given a draw 24 before AJ. Yeah. Everybody went around like 3 or 4 times, and then I ran out of draw 4s, and then
Sitting in this center field cam, lights are off. Front row, Philip Bridgman, David Cabrera. Second row, J.D. Laird and Devin Mosley, and then in row 3. You got Will Cloud on the inside and Samuel Harrell, who's been up front most of this race, kind of relegated into that 6th position after the couple cautions we just had.
Yeah, and it looks like he definitely used a fast repair to get through that last wreck. So this is kind of it for him. What better way to use your fast repair than for a green, white, checkered finish?
Oh, here we go. Pace car's going to hit pit road. Into the restart zone is Philip Bridgman.
Green, green, green.
We are green again. Green, white, checkered time for the Daytona Thunder 200.
And as he sees the 31 go down to the inside, I thought he was going to try to keep it going there with the 5. Decides better of it. Oh, the wrecking behind us already. No caution yet, though.
No caution.
But they did wreck.
That was
looks
Jared
like it was the 1
Manning
car.
In the 7 and the 1 of Matthew Enns.
And here comes the 31. He's going to go to the outside here with the 22 of JD.
JD Laird helping out his teammate.
David Cabrera, here he comes up to the front. 5 car in the 57 on that outside lane, 48 on the broadcast. So we got 2 48s. I'm seeing double.
Stop drinking.
We coming off of turn number 4. White flag is in the air.
White flag in the air. David Cabrera takes the white flag. A lot of times at Daytona, that leader hitting that white flag doesn't come around and win the race. But is J.D. Laird going to push his teammate to a win? Here comes that outside. Devin Mosley, Will Cloud, and the 17.
I don't think Laird's going to have much of a choice. I think he is going to have to push his teammate to the win here if he wants to have a 1-2 finish. He's gonna. The 5 car might have a run here with the 57. The 22 gets loose. They're wrecking behind us.
Oh, we have.
It's gonna literally come down between the 31 and the 5 here, coming off of turns 3 and 4.
They're side by side in 3 and 4, wrecking behind them. It is a 2-car race out of 4. Cabrera has the advantage right now. They're gonna bump. They're gonna tap. Coming to the line.
I think it's gonna be the 31.
David Cabrera wins the Daytona Thunder 200, followed by
what
Devin
a
Mosley.
Finish.
What a very close finish. Gary, you have the results right there. How close of a finish was that?
2/100ths of a second. I mean, he got him by a fender. You get your stop motion camera out there, you'll be able to see how close that finish was.
It would be better if we had a better view. There it is. Oh, I was so close.
Story of my life.
We're going to try this again because I'm a perfectionist. And I blew it there.
Oh, you got to do frame by frame, homie. There you go. Give yourself a fighting chance right here.
Same spot.
Close enough. We'll take it. What a finish by about a fender and a half. I mean, that's as close as it gets.
That was an amazing finish. Kudos to Devin Mosley and both David Cabrera for not just wrecking each other coming out of 4.
Yeah, absolutely. That's some great showmanship right there. Coming down to the line and just, letting it happen and not wrecking each other for the win. That's a class act.
A couple bumps here and there, try to slow each other down, perfectly fine. Kept each other in the race, steering wheels in both hands, and David Cabrera wins the Daytona Thunder 200. We will be right back with those podium interviews, but in the meantime, we're going to go to the Nerds Do Nerd Things podcast with their show open. We'll see you guys in just about 30 seconds.
From Mordor to Hogwarts to Gotham, the nerds have come together to create a show for nerds by nerds. Join nerds doing nerd things as they talk about all things nerdy. Stay up to date on the show by liking the Nerds Doing Nerd Things Facebook page.
And we are back, everybody. Thank you for tuning in to tonight's event. We're going to get talking to our podium finishers in just a second as you see David Cabrera running through that wonderful smoke cloud that he has created, driving backwards down pit road, parking in his pit stall, getting ready to climb out of that 31 JDR graphics machine to come talk to us. But overall, amazing finish. Couldn't ask for anything better here tonight. How do you want to start this, pal?
Up to you. It's your show.
Okay, well, that made it slightly easier. We're going to start with race winner David Cabrera. Gary, I'm going to give it to you. Take it away.
David Cabrera, Gary Wells in the booth. You got a copy?
Yes, sir. I got you.
All right. Well, we're down here in Victory Lane. You've sprayed the champagne. You've done your burnouts. You've caused a fire here on the front stretch. Talk about your race, bud. You went from fast repair to Victory Lane. Talk about it.
I think we qualified 4th or something around there. And we pretty much hang around the back. Me, JD, Cossack, Zeke, and Frank. We were there in the back for a little bit, and we're there chilling. I made a move like not even halfway through the race to get to the front, and then I decided to go to the back. But yeah, coming to the end, we got wrecked. I got net coded from a wreck, and when everybody checked up, I made the move in the middle, and I thought I was good, and then all of a sudden the net code grabbed me in the 97, I think it was. I don't know who it was. Yeah, it was Chevy. That's all I know. But we got wrecked there, and then we got wrecked again. Well, we didn't get wrecked again, but we missed a big wreck coming off of turn 4, and then we went to the grass and we 360'd, which we didn't get any damage, which that was good. And then to the restart, I knew the 48 had a bit of damage, and I knew if I was good, if he got because he got a good restart.
Mm-hmm.
If he left a gap between him and the 22, I was gonna go take it, and the 22 was gonna help me once both of us were clear, and he was helping me through the way.
Yeah, and even with the wreck, he still came home to finish 7th there, JD, in the 22 car there. But good race overall for you. Got to come out here with the dub tonight at Daytona. That's always exciting. Next race, Las Vegas Motor Speedway, Sin City. Gambling racetrack there. Probably going to be a hot and slick one out there in Las Vegas next week. Talk about Vegas, man. You any good there at these mile and a halves?
I'm pretty good in the mile and a halves with the Xfinity car. I've been running a lot of next gen recently, so I'm kind of getting the hang of the Xfinity car once again. But yeah, Vegas, I don't know if it's going to be running a day or a night, but either way, rear tires, that's going to be a really important thing to save, if you know, to save your tires. And you can run multiple lines. I don't know about an Xfinity car because the last time I raced you could run the bottom, you could run the high side, but if you're running the high side, your tires would get burnt off. So it's going to be a fun one.
Yeah,
And,
entertaining for sure.
Good to hear, pal. Congratulations on the win. It's Agent Capola. But what does it mean to win here at Daytona? Not just the opening race of season number 4 for the Thunderstorm League of Racing, but what does it actually mean to win at Daytona?
Overall, it doesn't care if it's an Xfinity car, 87, trucks, cup. It doesn't matter what kind of car or layout you race here. Anytime you get the chance to win here or race, it's nice, it's special and unique. And I know I currently live in New York, but I was born around the Daytona Beach area, around the Volusia County area, and it's kind of nice to get a win at your home track. Technically, it's nice and it's kind of special to win here because it's close home to me, and kind of nice. And in a couple of months, we're going to move back there and officially live there. So it's going to be nice having the racetrack near you again, and it's nice winning also in the virtual world.
Yeah, for sure. Any plugs here before we let you go?
Yeah, I gotta thank JDR Graphics. He's really good at making this beautiful Chevy Camaro that we ran here tonight. If you look closely, it's based off of the Mountain Dew car, which
I was trying to make a guess at that.
Yeah. Thanks to him, he made this beautiful 31 machine, and including his 22 and 16 machine that also ran here tonight, but they got damaged. But we got the clean end out of the stick. But JDR Graphics, Apex Action photographer. He takes some good photos. He's a really good one. He takes some into the Coke series, and they're really good. So you can DM him and see if he can take pictures for you. They're really nice. He's on Twitter. So yeah.
All right, brother. Well, once again, congratulations. We're gonna let you go celebrate your win to start the season 4 schedule off with a wonderful win, but hopefully we talk to you at Las Vegas next week. But until then, keep her in victory lane for a while and party hard.
Yeah, it's a good way to start the season, winning the race. And I think I'm technically the points leader because I won the race. I don't know about the other bonus points included, but yeah, I think we're the points leader heading into Vegas next week, so that's be nice.
That'll be nice for sure. Getting that points early. Good luck to you here the rest of the way. And
all right,
good
thank you.
tonight.
Good luck,
All right,
David.
thank you. Have a good night, you.
All right, let's talk to the driver that finished second. It is Devin Mosley. Devin, it's AJ and Gary in the booth. Got a copy, pal.
Howdy, guys. Nice to talk to you.
Yeah, no kidding. It's not like I haven't talked to you in, a couple hours before the race and, doing a quick briefing on how everything's going to go. Were you expecting to run that well here?
After wrecking on lap 6, I was doomed, but then the iRacing gods felt sorry for me and let me get through 6 wrecks. So I'm here for it.
Yeah, that 5 car, it seemed like towards the later half of that race, you were able to put that Amtrak, I think you ran a Ford Mustang.
It's a Ford.
Yeah.
Ford Mustang, yeah.
I was going to say, I think it's a Ford. But
with the Hendrick font, I know it threw you off.
Yeah, exactly. You were able to put that wherever you want. You were able to push really hard. You were able to get pushed. And I think, outside of everybody wrecking behind you, I got to give you kudos a lot for not just outright, dumping David or, taking the wheel right out of his hand. And I should have said the same thing to him because you guys let yourselves fight for it. And what an amazing finish. I think that was the closest Daytona finish on iRacing I've ever seen. But Devin, outside of wrecking early in the race, talk us through how it was being in that number 5 Ford Mustang Amtrak machine.
Well, I shouldn't have been here in the first place. I stayed out about halfway through and didn't take any gas. And then right as I was about to run out, the wreck happened in front of me, and I made it down to pit road without getting caught up in it. and then from there it was history. I enjoyed racing the 31. He's a great guy. We had ourselves a Mark Martin, Kevin Harvick finish, except that I was Mark Martin, he's Harvick this time. So I'll get him next time. I finally didn't get wrecked in one of these where it made me finish 27th or worse.
The iRacing gods are really on your side then if you were able to avoid a couple wrecks there and be able to get to pit road as you're running out of gas. That's a good break right there.
Oh yeah, always.
All right, brother. Well, anybody you want to thank before we let you go and celebrate a second place finish here tonight before heading to Las Vegas next week?
Well, I just want to thank the league guys for putting this on and you guys for giving a great broadcast. I've had fun commentating with you guys in the past, and I'm pretty sure it'll be fun to watch this race back and reminisce on this one for a while.
Yeah, that was a heck of a finish, and be proud of that because you don't see a lot of finishes like that.
Well, thank you guys. Have a good night.
See you later, Devin. Gary, let's talk to our third place finisher tonight, as I completely forgot to change the number sequence. Let's talk to Samuel Harrell.
Well, Sammy, we got you here, and we're down here on pit road. I know that's not where you wanted to finish after being up front, at least in the top two most of the night, but you come away out of the wrecks in third position tonight. Talk about your run.
Well, my goal was to stay up front all night. I know I didn't qualify, so I just drove to the front as fast as I could, and I stayed out on, I think, the first caution, which put me up front, and I basically stayed there the whole night. I went up to block Zeke, and he got a run on the outside, so it put me in the middle, and I feel like the 22 come up, but I'll have to check that on replay, and spun me. So I started back. We both started in the back, and then on that last restart, it was a mess.
Yeah, you'll get a good view of that. We were able to break that wreck down pretty good, Sammy. So you'll definitely get a good view on the replay on our end for sure. But you still came home with third. I mean, that's still a really solid run, even with the wreck on the last lap, where you were able to work your way through it and watch the side-by-side battle there between the 31 and the 5. But talk about Vegas here next week. We're going to Las Vegas Motor Speedway. First intermediate of the year. How do you stack up with the intermediates here?
Vegas is one of my favorite tracks, so stack up pretty good. Should be a top 5, top 6, easy. Got some quality drivers in here.
Yeah, for sure. It definitely seems like it, especially here at Daytona. You guys were able to race side by side most of the race with very few incidents. And when there were incidents, it didn't seem like they were big until the end. So,
Right.
AJ, you got anything for him here?
No, not really, dude. Great race. You were up front 90% of this event tonight, and still bringing it home third after some issues on the final lap on the backstretch, as we're seeing it here. But man, great race overall. Hopefully you can do it once again at Las Vegas next week. But like you said, you think you got a top 6 car, but could be crazy after an update, as we've seen tonight, especially with that
That's
track
right.
also getting an update as well.
That's right. Yeah, definitely going to have to put down some practice laps just to see what it was, see what happened.
All right, brother.
I heard it's something to do with the seams, so we'll see.
Oh boy. Well, you take care. We hopefully will talk to you next week at Las Vegas.
Yes, sir. Y'all do a great job.
Thank you, pal. You have a good one.
Yes, sir.
All right, Gary. We just saw a
As we're
couple.
going back on this replay, I couldn't help but notice the 17. He went for a well of a ride here on the backstretch there. He went barrel rolling as 43 was going through that wreck there on the last lap.
Yeah, he was. But we're gonna run through the finishing order on your screen. There it is. An amazing race here at Daytona, and overall, I can't wait to see what this league does for their Season 4, Season 2, Season 3, both phenomenal. I have Gary Wells now for Season 4, and David Cabrera wins the Daytona Thunder 200, followed by Devin Mosley and Samuel Harrell. But last second thoughts, pal, before we close it up. Gary?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Bueller.
I thought you were asking Sammy there. No, it was a great race overall. Really excited for season 4 in Vegas next week. Hopefully, we see some good side by side racing there and a good show for the fans here.
Yeah, Las Vegas is one of my favorite tracks on the sim. Multi-grooved, it's fun, and you can pretty much pull a run out of anywhere as long as you got those fresh tires. But after an update, I can't wait to see what these drivers are going to have to practice and how many laps they're going to have to practice to get used to.
Yeah, especially if there was something with the seams or the bumps, if it was a rescan, all those things, it's going to play into effect. And it's going to be interesting how these guys stack up next week. They're definitely going to have to turn a lot of laps because even with a small update like that, that's going to make it tricky.
Yes.
For these guys, but still should be a good race regardless.
Yeah, it should be, but until then, everybody stay cool, stay safe, and stay hydrated. Kind of hot out there in most of the U.S. We will see you next Wednesday at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. But until then, see ya.
From Mordor to Hogwarts to Gotham, the nerds have come together to create a show for nerds by nerds. Join nerds doing nerd things as they talk about all things nerdy. Stay up to date on the show by liking the Nerds Doing Nerd Things Facebook page.